Hey guys, this is Allison from Allykatkreations. How are you? Please like, share, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already. And if you get anything from my work, a connected dot, a mind blown moment, an epiphany. And I know I just did that backwards, but that's how my brain works. A new book to read. A new author to explore. Please consider supporting my work. All the links are at the bottom of this video. Hi. I had a very interesting day today. It is raining profusely. And I had to go down to the store because I don't trust the water systems here. So I buy my own bottled water to drink out of and what have you. And when I got back, a cute little kitty, I don't know if it's it doesn't look like a kitten, was in front of my house, just chilling. That little guy, really cute. And I tried making friends with him. I gave him like food because obviously I still have cat food, regular cat food from when Ethan was still alive. And Morgan, I have to feed here and there that food because she doesn't like her dietary food. She's picky and a diva. So I have all this extra food. So I bring it outside to this little guy, and he's destroying it like he's never eaten in a while. And I gave him dry food and some water in my front of my house. And then he's just not having it. So he runs to the back of my house. I run back and go downstairs, and he's under my deck, hiding under some boxes. So I bring more food out, and he let me pet his third eye. But then like I tried capturing him, and I don't like doing that. I rather them come up but it was raining. It was not, it kind of slowed down. The rain was kind of letting up, but he ran to the back of my property that way. And there's a creek behind my house, like at the whole back of my yard. And don't know what happened to him. I'm hoping he comes back. But that was like a whole half of my afternoon and morning trying to coax this cat to like be friendly and like, hey, it's okay. I'm here to help you. Want you dry and warm and fed. And yeah, so that was my afternoon. And then I finished one of my drawings. And all the fun stuff that comes with life. Oh, yes. Oh. What are we going to do? What are we going to do? Sorry, I had to find a note. So I'm still not ready to do my spiritual soul advice. It's all still unraveling and filtering. But today I am going to do the quantum AI and metaphysical ponderings, because why not? There's more, this demon thing that I keep seeing. I have like the re-articles about something with demon in it. And then more black hole fun. Like I have a whole list of stuff I collected a few days ago. I started making my link list again. It's just not stopping. So for anybody who's on my private Facebook, I have two, and if you want to join me on Facebook, more than happy to friend, accept your friend request if you're on Facebook. If you do, please message me first saying that you're from my channel so that I know what I'm letting in, because I get a lot of scammy, shisty winners on my chats. I'm past that age, guys. And the trolls. So if you're interested, I do post this as soon as I see it. And I see all these articles off of my Facebook. Crazy shit. So the first one I wanted to tackle, because I'm now curious about okay. I'm going to go to that one last. Sorry, guys. Just fiddling around with my tabs. I'm not Tabs Lander and I'm not Tabs JQ. No. I'm very curious what this demon stuff is. And why are they calling it that? I don't know. We'll see when I read this article. But there's 3 articles with demon in it, and they're all from different places. So this first article is physics.org in August 9th. So again, all of this stuff is recent. It's not like I'm plucking it out of the way back machine. This stuff is recent. So this is the concerns that I've been having, why I started this little series, is because what the fuck? Literally. WTF is going on. This stuff is very concerning, and a lot of people don't pay mind to it because most people don't read physics stuff. But I think it's really important that we do, because this dictates moves or potential agendas that could be implemented without our understanding or knowing. Don't like it. So physics.org, I'm looking for, by Michael O'Boyle, University of Illinois. Granger College of Engineering. It's not that far from me, actually. Demon hunting. Physicist confirms 67-year-old prediction of massless neutral composite particles. In 1956, theoretical physicist David Pines predicted that electrons in a solid can do something strange. While they normally have a mass and an electrical charge, Pines asserted that they can combine to form a composite particle that is massless, neutral, and does not interact with light. He called the particle a demon. Well, I think even ghosts hold mass because of the plasma that they manifest in. I don't know if I would call this a neutral, massless thing, a demon. Maybe because it does not interact with light. I don't know. Anywho, interesting. Since then, it has been speculated to play an important role in the behaviors of a wide variety of metals. Unfortunately, the same properties that make it interesting have allowed it to elude detection since its prediction. Now, a team of researchers led by Peter Abamonte, a professor of physics at the University of Illinois, Urbana-Champaign, have finally found Pine's demon 67 years after it was predicted. As the researchers report in the journal Nature, they use a non-standard experimental technique that directly excites a material's electronic modes, allowing them to see the demon's signature in a metal strontium ruthenite. Demons have been theoretically conjectured for a long time, but experimentalists never study them. In fact, we weren't even looking for it, but it turned out we were doing exactly the right thing, and we found it. The elusive demon. One of the most important discoveries of condensed matter physics is that electrons lose their individuality in solids. Electric interactions make the electrons combine to form collective units. With enough energy, the electrons can even form composite particles called plasmons with a new charge and mass determined by underlying electric interactions. However, the mass is usually so large that plasmons cannot form with the energies available at room temperature. Pines found an exception. If a solid has electrons in more than one energy band, as many metals do, he argued that their respective plasmons can combine in an out-of-phase pattern to form a new plasmon that is massless and neutral, a demon. Since demons are massless, they can form with any energy, so they may exist at all temperatures. This has led to the speculation that they have important effects on the behavior of multi-band metals. Demons' neutrality means that they do not leave a signature in standard condensed matter experiments. This vast majority of experiments are done with light and measure optical properties, but being electrically neutral means that demons don't interact with light. Abamonte said, a completely different kind of experiment was needed. I still don't get the concept of why a guy would call this a demon. And I feel like there's something so more than that, because you just don't apply a term to something without it having substantial reasoning to it. So that's that article. It goes on a little bit, but I'm just sharing little bits and pieces. It's just weird. This next one, space.com. Bizarre demon particle found inside superconductor could help unlock a holy grail of physics by Ben Turner. And this was, it says 3 days ago. An elusive demon particle has been observed in inside a superconductor nearly 70 years after it was first predicted. Its discovery could help resolve the mystery of how superconductors work. Pine's demon is a transparent, chargeless particle discovered inside a sample of the superconductor strontium ruthenite. It is a plasmon, a ripple across electrons of plasma that behaves much like a particle, meaning a quasi-particle. Now I'm going to put a pause 2 seconds here. So they're talking about the same article, basically. It's the same concept, the same thing, but look at the differences between the articles, which I find very fascinating. This one's talking about a superconductor and meaning it's a quasi-particle. But that article had no mentions of those things. So I find it very interesting, the spins on media in their community. What are they hiding? Theorists think that plasmons may facilitate superconductivity in materials. If physicists are able to find out how, they could use Pine's demon to shed light on room temperature superconductors, one of the holy grails of physics that would enable near lossless transmission of electricity. The researchers published the finding. Okay, first instinctual thing here is I'm thinking of the free electricity at room temperatures where most people's houses lie in that range of whatever room temperature is considered across the world. I'm curious if this would tie in with Tesla's work at all. And again, I'm not a physicist. I don't do the math. I don't know what goes on. But I find it interesting. I'm going to skip around. To hunt the demon, physicists behind the new study fired electrons at crystallized strontium ruthenite and measured their energies as the electrons bounced back. From this, they calculated the momentum of the plasma wave inside the material. The quasi-particle they discovered lurking inside the strontium ruthenite matched predictions from an electronic mode with no mass. Followed up experiments replicated the researchers' initial discovery, and they had found Pine's demon. Choo-choo goes the train. But the possibility remains that Pine's demon may also be involved in nudging electrons together, and that could be used to understand build better superconductors. So, just again, this must be the biggest deal in physics right now, because there's a third article with the same shit, but like there's notice in different words used here. So this one's by iflscience.com. Demon quasi-particle finally observed after decades of prediction. The oscillation was found while scientists were studying the properties of superconductors. This is by Dr. Alfredo Carpenti, possibly. So with more jargon here, plasmons are truly peculiar quasi-particles. They arise from quantized oscillation in plasma, the fourth and most common state of matter. Just like light is an electromagnetic oscillation with its own particle, the photon, other oscillations can create something similar. One of the weirdest plasmons of all is without doubt Pine's demon. And the fact that it sounds like a cryptid only helps its infamous status. But after decades, it's been observed. So it all goes on to say the same thing with different phrase words and fun stuff. But just like all of history and all of things going on in the world, where is this leading it to? What other kinds of experiments are they leading this to? And again, this is like my fallback to everything. All these universities and study groups and all these things. Where the hell is the public being told of this research? Besides, if you are a physicist and a nerd, no offense, I'm a nerd, that enjoys these things. This seems like if you can increase in all this research to make high-formed superconductors, what are they making with these superconductors? What are they doing with these superconductors? So this to me seems like it's all compartmentalized to do all this work. And then they go off and do more experiments, and that's compartmentalized. And then they send those things out to more teams and more teams until the big result happens, and then, oops. We did stuff for quantum quasi-particles, and there's a demon in there. Yeah, I don't like it. Don't like it. But I found this like to grab your attention. And yeah, it could be called demon. Someone deemed it demon. But it not showing up in the light speaks some volumes, I would say. Maybe it might speak volumes to you. I don't know. Now for black hole fun. This is from Live Science by Donovan Coffey, published 9 days ago. Could a black hole devour the universe? Black holes can swallow stars, planets, and even merge with other black holes. But could a massive one swallow the entire universe? Black holes are infamous for their immense gravity. They can swallow stars, and even planets, and even other black holes. In short, no, there's no way that a black hole could eat the universe or even an entire galaxy, according to the deceivers named NASA. Sorry, guys, my body is screaming. My back, precisely. Black holes are former massive stars that have collapsed back in on themselves to become incomprehensibly dense, so much so that even light can't escape them. The idea that a black hole could swallow the universe is based on the misconception that they work like vacuums, sucking space towards themselves, said Gure sorry if I'm getting your name wrong, Kanen, a black hole physicist at the University of Rhode Island, but that's not the case. Quote, they only swallow things that are extremely close, Kahan said. In fact, black holes can only devour objects that venture into their event horizon, a black hole's point of no return. Beyond there is no escape. Boy, oh boy. For example, the event horizon for a black hole, the mass of the sun would extend only 2 miles. For a black hole with the mass of Earth, the event horizon would only be a few inches, the size of your thumb. A black hole's gravity still impacts surrounding stars and planets. It may even cause them to orbit like the black hole at the center of the Milky Way does, but it doesn't swallow them. York University astronomy professor Paul Delaney gave the following example in an article for the university's website. If our own sun was to miraculously transform into a black hole of the same mass, our planet would not discern any change in the gravitational force acting on it and continue in the same orbit, he said. It would get very dark, of course, and very cold, but the black hole's gravity in our distance from it would not be a concern. So this is very interesting. Very, very interesting, because it's, even though I don't like the deceivers of NASA, because that's what the word actually means. These people studying it are saying it's not sucking shit in unless it's very in close proximity to it. Very interesting. Got to ponder this a bit. It's also important to note that the black holes are quite small. A black hole expert at the University of California, Berkeley, told Live Science, for a black hole to have a reasonably high chance of swallowing a star, the star in question must be aimed almost directly at the black hole, he said. Over time, this kind of cosmic bullseye can happen. But for the sun to be swallowed up by the black hole at the center of the Milky Way, for example, it would take a truly ginormous amount of time for the star's orbit to line up just right with the black hole, he said. Even the largest known black hole in the universe, a cosmic titan named TON 618, weighing an estimated 4 billion solar masses, appears to be near the theoretical limit of how big a black hole can get. This limit comes from the fact that as large black holes gorge themselves on matter, they also release tons of radiation. The radiation heats up and ionizes the surrounding matter, making it more difficult for the gases and dust to cool down and fall into the black hole, and ultimately slowing the rate at which the black hole can feed. The self-regulation prevents black holes from devouring entire galaxies, let alone an entire universe. Well, isn't that great? Yay. But what if these particle physicists, these theoretical physicists, and it has already happened because I read an article the last time, what happens if they create a black hole in CERN? Let's just say CERN did it. Not saying they are, but what happens if they did? And what happens if, yeah, it could be the size of a thumb, but what happens if they do other experiments and it shifts things and it opens up a huge one? Now, what would happen with a white hole? It's crazy to think about this. There is the universe's accelerating expansion to consider. As objects in space become farther apart, they're less likely to collide with and be captured by a black hole. Kahn says, if one black hole were to devour the entire universe, it would require a monumental shift in the direction of the cosmos appears to be moving. So you can rest easy, at least there where the giant universe swallowing black holes are concerned. They are nothing for us to worry about. Unless, of course, the universe is already inside a black hole. Sizzles. Now, this I have to read a little bit more with Ashiana's work because she talks about a black hole. And she just recently talked about the sun going in Bardo. Take my thinking. I'm not saying this is so. I wrote down somewhere. I have like a notepad and I write my thinkings down sometimes. And why I started doing these reading articles and thinking about this stuff was because we had an event. No. Son of a. Where did I write it down? Oh, here we go. Okay. There is an event that happened in the 80s, but I don't know if I could contribute that to a shift in time space as a 3D reality construct. But we did have a timeline paradigm shift into 2012. We had another one in 2016. And right now, I think we're going through something else. Because this shift is making time playing like a what was I equating it to yesterday? Because I was having I had a lot of downloads, and yesterday what I was given in my downloads was us, let's just say, as a ping pong ball being ponged in a 5D chess match. So 5 different density levels that were being ping ponged in and around this match game, and different entities and different higher density entities who know how to play with time space and who know how to interfere with the scalar wave and with time, the continuum that we have here in linear. What I was shown was a ping pong going up, and we're just the ping pong ball being bounced up and down and around. And it makes sense if you look at the Schumann resonance. What happens during the times that we are getting those frequencies? And yes, it's coming from Earth and it's of the electromagnetic field. But why are we spiking? Like, what happens during those spikes? Well, a lot of us get a lot of downloads. A lot of us get an either really lethargic and don't feel good, or we are super energetic and we get a shit ton done. If you equate Ashiana's work, and I'm using her as an example because she talks about it constantly. Goodness sakes, my body's killing me. in her work, most of her work is done way before 2012, and it was working up until 2012, talking about the evacuation, talking about how to get out of here, basically. So the paradigm shift did take place because CERN found the Bose-Heisenberg. So what happens when they found that? I think that with that instant snap moment, we were blooped in to what Shanna and I even would call a failsafe, where there is such a term as quarantine Earth. I believe we are quarantined from the rest of the galaxy, and to keep us from implosion, from the other forces trying to take us over or take us out, we were put into a fail-safe pocket little universe. James Ring talks about pocket universes, and we were held there for some time. And I think in 2012 was when 2016 was when we ended that fail-safe and started leaning back into time space where we originally were taken out of. I think that's why a lot of people are experiencing the Mandela effect, extreme bouts of deja vu. And I think like a lot of what's happening now, besides it being the harvest and the time where we're shifting, because again, we really don't know if we're in Aquarius just yet astrologically, to call this the Aquarian age. We're not there yet. I don't think we are. I don't feel that we are. And again, I'm not an astrologer. I only know baseline things. But what happens if we happen to be on the other side of a black hole? Maybe we were sucked into one during that fail-safe. I mean, if we want to go back to the law of one and think about the Crusaders, the Orion Crusaders, the invaders, we always hear about how they dumped the Draconians into this time frame, into this matrix, that they weren't necessarily originally from here. They were dumped here, and now we're here stuck with them. I don't know if anybody else has heard that. I've heard it from plenty of other people. I find it very weird. And where does that concept come from? Unless there's a black hole that injected them here. Because there is a black hole matrix. And that's what they want in terms of one agenda. One of the agendas is to get us to fall into the black hole matrix, so that it could suck the quanta out of all of us and everything. And then we would go back into source as a space dust return, because that's eventually, it's not that we don't go back to God, because we are of God and it all is of God. And that's just one way to go back to source, is space dust return through a black hole. But that's if the black hole, after it sucks our shit out. So I find a lot of these, this is why I find a lot of this interesting, is to find the connecting link to what happened in our paradigm shifting, what really happened to us and what's really happening to us now. Because the things that I receive from my downloads is that we're ping-ponging in and out of a time zone. Like we're being swatted around to different times, different dimensions, different things. And again, we don't perceive this. We don't see it, perceive it, even feel it. And some of us feel it minutely. But I mean, what really is happening? And then now I question, why do I see all these black hole articles happening? And, you know, it's just weird. I don't know about you guys, but I think it's a huge concern. And not because we can't do anything about it. We probably can't do anything about it. It's just being aware of it. And when you're more consciously aware of something, you have a way of using your thought to will something else into existence to override that. And if enough people are aware that this possibly could be happening, again, I'm not 100% sure what's going on. I just know that right now, time is either super freaking sped up or it's super sped slow. And it shifts. And I know the last blink of an eye this year has gone significantly faster. Time has sped up significantly. I mean, I feel like I just moved in and it's almost been 8 months and it doesn't feel like it is at all. It feels like I just got here like 2 months ago. It's scary how fast the days are going. And, you know, even for myself, like I'm working on a bunch of things, but like, where is the time going? I don't feel like I have enough time to get things done. And I'm not working a physical job. I'm doing this and I'm making some artwork and trying to get my house in order. Oh my gosh. It feels like it's going in a snap. I don't know if anybody else is feeling that way, but I'm perceiving it. I feel it. What are you feeling? Write it in the comments. Tell me, what are you feeling? Because I do feel that there is another paradigm shift about to happen. I just don't know in what capacity that's going to look like. And with the people doing all these discoveries and finding all these things, which are great. I mean, it's great to know that things are being found that were predicted or theorized about. But are we using these things for the greater good of humanity, or are we making things compartmentalized and the military complex using these things for the benefit of bad? I don't know. But what I do know is it doesn't make me comfortable when I'm seeing a ton of these things. And it's like, what do you make of it? And then you go into the spiritual work and you're like, okay, why? So this is just a lot of pondering on my end, but I mean, did we go through a wormhole? Is a black hole just a wormhole? That it sucks everything in and distorts it and then spits it back out. Is it a Stargate? Is it a way to get out of the matrix and not go into another matrix? You know, I equate this to the World of Warcraft when you go through a portal or you're taking a boat to the next land. The load screen is there, and would that be the black hole? You know, you go through a video game and, you know, you load to the next level or you load to the next scene. Are you going through a black hole in reality? Just a good question. Okay, so this is freeastroscience.com. This is August 4th, 2023. Would have been my mother's birthday. Unraveling the mystery of intermediate black holes in the Milky Way. Situated at the heart of our Milky Way galaxy resides a supermassive black hole named Sagittarius A. Great name. Possessing a mass equivalent to 4 million suns. Recent research hints at the potential existence of an adjacent immediate black hole. Its mass yet to be determined. Oh, fun. Well, it's confirmed that Sagittarius A lacks nearby supermassive or stellar black holes, those formed by stars and stage collapse. Studies seeking intermediate mass black holes have been scarce. These astronomical bodies with masses ranging from 100 to a few thousand solar masses are considered the missing link in the evolution of supermassive entities. Their elusive nature makes them challenging to pinpoint, though it's speculated they are more prevalent than believed. Candidates for these intermediate mass black holes have been detected by the James Webb. AI fraudulent shit, just my opinion. Just find it very odd that all these space things that they supposedly send up all of a sudden are way faster and deeper in space, even though you really can't control that shit, than it was in the 80s when they sent stuff up and out, and it took years and decades to get things to Jupiter and to Saturn and to, you know, other places around our little hub here. Now, how I forgot how far the Webb went or is detecting things, but it doesn't seem correct in terms of like logic, you know. And again, NASA's deceiver. Look who founded NASA. So again, I'm not discrediting the organization if they are doing legitimate work, but again, a lot of falsehoods are coming to the light, and you can't kind of ignore some of the things that you see with your own two eyes. And again, I'm not talking to my patriotic friends who follow other things that I do. I'm talking to the scientific community who is still stuck in a paradigm that they need to reach out of. To investigate the vicinity of Sagittarius A, the study's authors, including a Nobel laureate recognized for providing the existence of this black hole, utilized the orbit of a star named S2, orbiting closely to the supermassive entity. S2's trajectory could indicate the presence of another sizable mass. In essence, another black hole near Sagittarius A would disrupt S2's orbit, particularly if it's an intermediate hole, and even more so if supermassive. The star completes an orbit around Sagittarius A every 16 years with over 2 decades of observational data available. Despite no detected gravitational disruptions in S2's orbit, the researchers hypothesize the intermediate black hole may still be in proximity. They suggest that if the supposed intermediate black hole orbits Sagittarius A beyond S2's orbit, its mass would range between 1,000 and 10,000 suns. If it's closer to Sagittarius A than the star, it would be as large as 400 solar masses at maximum. I mean, there's so much potential with what we can think on a spiritual level on what a black hole really means, what it is, what it does. Are we in one? Were we ever in one? do we get spit out? And then what happens if our sun really is in Bardo and becomes a black hole? Now, the challenging thought that I had yesterday, thinking about black holes, is what density are they seeing it in? If they exist, what density? Let's just say we're in third density. What happens if we shift physically, not mentally, physically to 4? Does this all apply still? I spy with my eye some interesting things, because according to some people who have been abducted or go on some crazy, awesome space adventures, like Venus is habitable and other planets are habitable, but in higher densities. You have to wear density changing outfits or belts or whatever have you to be able to withstand the higher octaves of vibration and oscillation that's happening in these states of space-time, time-space. So where are these black holes happening? Is it dimensionally? Is it harmonic universally? Is it in density? These are these questions like ravage my mind all day. Because if they're measuring time crystals in 4D, which is time, space, time, in this realm, they're measuring time in 4D, then where are these black holes and how are they being measured and what density are they being measured in? And if we do consciously physically move Earth, Tara, Gaia, are we not going to have this issue? Because we're out of that paradigm. And does this happen in the multiverse? Is this happening multidimensionally? Is these black holes existing multidimensionally in other systems, in other space-time continuums? This is the stuff that we really should be researching and thinking about, because it does and will most likely affect us if we jump to 4D and then we find out there's black holes. Well, what's the risks? I mean, again, we can't stop a black hole, and I don't think we could stop physical black hole suction eating us. But it's interesting to see all these articles. I'm going to read another one in a minute. Where does these things and these paradigms exist? In what time space? And do they exist in higher densities? Are they a part of the plan, the cosmic plan that Source made for all of us? Are these things that just happen to be there just in case things get a little messy and dicey and oops, my experiment went wrong. Sorry, guys. You're going to come back to me, but fragmented because you messed up. Just interesting. Interesting. This next article is from blog.physics/astronomy.com. And this is by news reporter August 4th, 2023. Attempt no voyage here. An entire swarm of black holes have been caught moving through the Milky Way. What? Astronomers have discovered a swarm of over 100 stellar mass black holes moving through the Milky Way. This discovery was made in the heart of Palomar 5, a globular cluster of stars located around 80,000 light years away. Globular clusters are dense spherical collections of stars, often considered fossils of the early universe. Palomar 5 is unique in that it is very wide, loose distribution of stars, and a long tidal stream, making it a key subject for understanding stream formation. The team of researchers used detailed N-body simulations to recreate the orbits and evolutions of each star in the cluster. They included black holes in their simulations, as recent evidence suggests that populations of black holes could exist in the central regions of a globular clusters. The results show that a population of stellar mass black holes in Palomar 5 could have resulted in a conflagration we see today. The number of black holes is roughly 3 times larger than expected from the number of stars in the cluster, meaning that more than 20% of the total cluster mass is made up of black holes. Interesting. Each black hole has a mass of about 20 times the mass of a sun, and they form in supernova explosions when the cluster was still very young. In around 1 billion years, the clusters will dissolve completely, and what remains will consist entirely of black holes orbiting the galactic center, thus suggesting that Palomar 5 is not unique, and the other globular clusters will likely share the same fate. This discovery also offers confirmation that the globular clusters may be excellent places to look for black holes that will eventually collide, as well as elusive class of middleweight black holes. Very interesting. Okay. Another article. This is by the same blog .physics/astronomy.com. Astronomers just discovered the largest black hole ever, and it could fit 30 billion suns. The cosmic monster, an ultra-massive black hole, has a mass of 30 billion suns and is located at the center of a galaxy hundreds of millions of light years away from Earth. This discovery was made possible through the phenomenon of gravitational lensing, where the gravity of a foreground galaxy magnifies a background object. The black hole located in one of the galaxies of the R Bell 1201 galaxy cluster is one of the biggest ever detected. It is on the upper limit of how large black holes can theoretically become. Keyword theoretically. The team arrived at the size of the black hole by analyzing the magnification of the foreground object in a series of images taken by the Hubble Space Telescope. They used sophisticated computer modeling, simulate how much light bends around the foreground galaxy where the black hole resides. Interestingly, this black hole is not very active, meaning it's not swallowing too much material and therefore not producing strong X-ray radiation. Such black holes are nearly impossible to study by other methods. However, gravitational lensing makes it possible to study inactive black holes, something not currently possible in distant galaxies. This approach could let us detect more black holes beyond our local universe and reveal how these exotic objects evolved further back in cosmic time. Interesting, the word use of time. This discovery opens up new possibilities for understanding the evolution and nature of black holes and underscores the importance of gravitational lensing in studying distant inactive black holes. Well, now, how do we know it's inactive for reals? The last article, this is by techexplorist.com by Paranji Mayer. Gravitational waves may reveal the nature of dark matter. Observation of gravitational waves from merging black holes may reveal new insights about dark matter. And this was August 9th, 2023. Dark matter is the biggest missing piece in our understanding of the cosmos. Despite substantial evidence that dark matter accounts for 85% of all matter in the universe, there is currently no consensus on its nature. This covers whether dark matter particles may collide with other particles like atoms or neutrinos, or if they can pass through them unscathed. One approach to test this is to observe how galaxies originate amid dense clouds of dark matter known as halos. When dark matter collides with neutrinos, the dark matter structure disperses, resulting in the formation of fewer galaxies. The problem with this strategy is that any missing galaxies are very small and far away from us, making it difficult to determine whether they are present, even with the greatest telescopes available. Rather than targeting the missing galaxies directly, a new study used computer simulations. Here is the fucking keyword of today: computer simulations. I have a problem with that. To study the production of gravitational wave signs in simulated universes with different kinds of dark matter. The simulations demonstrate far fewer black hole mergers in the distant cosmos in models where dark matter collides with other particles. If we went off of every effing computer simulated whatever have you, is that reality? If we think faster than a human thought and can project and manifest, that cannot be simulated, because you cannot simulate. You could simulate a bunch of responses, but it's not determinate which one will come and be expressed. So how do we, you can put a simulation and make dark matter do whatever it wants, but how do you know, unless you actually physically, and they do have dark matter in CERN, but are they playing with it to the extent where the computer simulations are quantifying all of this information and making it so? I don't like it. While the effects is too small to be detected by existing gravitational wave experiments, it will be an ideal target for the next generation of developed observatories. The scientists believe that their methods may spark fresh ideas for using gravitational wave data to investigate the universe's large-scale structure and shed insight on the enigmatic nature of dark matter. So out of all of these articles I read, some short, some long, we have a theme here. We have simulated computers. They're using simulated computer nonsense to determine things when, yeah, it's just a guess. Computer is not necessarily sentient. And even if it is, if it has a mind of its own and it is an offshoot of the creative spirit, then how does it know for sure what the nature of dark matter is going to do around black holes? It can only theorize its own mathematical equations to figure these things out. There's a lot of screwy shit going on. And there's a lot of dark hole, black matter articles just throwing themselves out there. I mean, 3 different articles all about the same demon particle. What are they trying to tell us is a better question. And what are they doing with these things once they find them? And what dark project are they using this stuff on? Because I bet you it already is in existence. We're all concerned about the spiritual war. We're all concerned about all kinds of craziness in the world that is just taking our eyes left and right. And and that's not to take away from the shit that is killing people and making people suffer. I'm not trying to take away from that. But in the greater scheme of the universe and of our actual existence, this stuff is close enough to what the hell are they trying to tell us? They have to tell you, the negative polarity has to tell you in some kind of crazy manner what they're up to. Because you, as the positive polarity, have the consciousness and the God spark to manifest their shit because they can't do it for themselves. So all these articles that I'm reading, really, in essence, what is this trying to steer? What agenda is it steering? I'm not quite sure yet. But I do know, as we sit here today, time is bouncing like a ping pong ball in all different directions. The scalar waves have been infiltrated. Things are sped up, whether it's for a good benefit or a bad benefit, but it's playing with our bodies. It's messing with our circadian rhythm in our bodies. You can only go and ground and do what we need to do to disperse the energy within our bodies. But what is this doing for the long run? If it's in the control of the positive, what is this? Why are we having this time sped up kind of deal? Why are all these black hole stuff in the news and physics news and scientific articles? It's just very interesting that I'm just seeing a ton of this stuff compile on each week, and I'm only choosing the articles I find really fascinating and things that capture my thinking. But I want to know what you guys are saying. Are you paying attention to any of this? What do you think? It's not easy to be a theorist is not easy, but I feel if we all start focusing little chunks of time on these topics, we might get more further evidence. If there are people out there that's in the scientific community that understands the nature of all this stuff, please reach out to me. I would love to talk to you and you give me a rundown of this stuff, because my dyslexia makes it super hard for me to do any kind of math, to work things out on my own. I'm just conceptualizing. But I find it very interesting that all these are popping up, and then really what is the reality of our universe? Is it a nose confounded map? What is it? And if we're looking outside of it, well, isn't there a firmament? And maybe is there water above the firmament? What is the nature and reality of this perception? And anyone that channels and tries to get an answer is getting a benign, banal answer, because it's a whole perception and there's no one wrong perception. It's, like I keep saying, it's all back to metaphysics. Everybody perceives the world and everything differently within it. And there's no right or wrong. in that perception either, because there's plenty of truths within your own perception. If we're looking for the ultimate truth, I don't think we're going to find it in this lifetime. We will find it once our physical vehicle dies and we ascend up and get a little couple of hints here and there from our buddies upstairs. But I'm going to leave this here, guys. I would love to know what you guys think. Please leave some comments. Please don't forget to hit that like button. This is all very curious for me, and it just helps my thinking, sharing it with you guys, because there are some very amazingly smart people out there that watch me, that do comment and do help me out or steer my thinking in different directions, and I love it. This for me was like, what happened to us? Where's the time dilations? Where's the time paradigm shifts? What happened to us? Why are we experiencing time like doing the Vogue, 5D Vogue chess kind of thing? We're in a ping pong match being bounced around. Are you feeling that too? Let me know. But sending each and every one of you light, love, protection, and shielding. Please have an amazing rest of the week. Please be safe. The weather is absolutely banana nuts outside. I know it was raining here all day. I had a few power outages, short surges, and it wasn't me. I didn't do it. But we had a couple of those. I'm happy my power didn't completely go out and stay out. But it's getting wild out there, so please be safe. Please be weather aware wherever you are in the world. And I hope to see you guys on the next one. Yes. No. I'm not sure if I'm starting a new Curtis book just yet. I might do. This is a good question. I don't know what to do next. Good questions. Whatever spirit wants, it's usually what ends up happening anyway. And just lastly, before I leave you, if you're interested in oracle readings and stuff, I'm starting to go back into that. I just did an angelic one. It is very helpful if you're looking for some advice for healing and going within, what you might need to work on a soul level. Again, if that resonates with you, go watch it. I'm trying to help everybody in different facets and forms, and that's my personal way of doing that. Please be safe, be seen, guys, and I'll see you on the next one.